Hey everyone, and welcome back to a long overdue model railroad operations video. In this video we're going to be going to the Mesa Model Railroad Club in San Diego and attending one of their internationally renowned, if I'm not mistaken, 1950s era operating sessions on their layout covering the Tehachapi line between Bakersfield and Mojave, set during the early 1950s in the transition era. It's an op session that I had been looking forward to attending for a long time, and I was finally able to do it, and I was very happy that I did. So anyways, this first shot here is of the BNSF Barstow to San Diego manifest passing through Old Town, and it's pretty interesting because it also has a Norfolk Southern unit as a DPU. This was my first real-life sighting of this train, so I'm glad to have finally caught it. I was up early enough to get it. And yeah, I was just super excited for this op session. You're going to see a lot of first-generation diesels and late steam and all that sort of stuff. And as to why I haven't been uploading much, well, I mean, life happens. I graduated college for one. I'm working a new job for another one, and I'm busy on another model railroad project that is not the Sierra Central, if you can believe it or not. It's a narrow gauge layout, that's what I'll say, and you'll see that covered here when I do my coverage of the narrow gauge convention coming up at the end of August as of the making of this video. So anyways, here is the BNSF Barstow to San Diego manifest passing through Old Town. And with the manifest out of the way, it's time to catch the trolley downtown, where I'll then transfer to a bus to Balboa Park. And with the op session underway, it's time to run my first train, which in this case was the second of 3 sections of a Santa Fe passenger train. Now, this was filmed all the way back in March, so you'll have to forgive me if I forget the exact train numbers and designations of the trains I was running, but I do know that this was the 3rd section of a Santa Fe passenger train. I think this may have been the Grand Canyon Limited or something like that. But as you can see, it's mostly mail and express with some additional heavyweight passenger equipment on the end. And here we are passing through Waylong, going over the loop. And next, we're nearing Cliff, passing through tunnel number 5. And in the siding at Cliff, holding for us, was a Southern Pacific maintenance of way train powered by a Mountain class steam locomotive.
There's 2 minutes.
And next, the Santa Fe passenger passes through Bealville, which in my opinion is one of the signature scenes on the layout. So you'll see a lot of shots of trains passing through this particular scene. And now we're rounding the horseshoe curve into Caliente, nearing the bottom of the grade. And now we're passing through the siding at Illman, on our way to the double track at Bena. And after that, we'll be at speed going through Magundon on our way to our final stop of the Santa Fe station in Bakersfield. Now here's one of the trains that I don't remember the name of. I don't remember the symbol of it. But what it did was run from Bakersfield to Mojave and do some switching at Monolith, which is the cement plant just past Tehachapi on the downgrade into Mojave. But right now I'm holding the siding at Allard, which is between Allard and Bealville. Of course, now the whole thing is just called Bealville. And I'm holding for a Santa Fe stock train hauled by a doubleheader of Mikados. So this was a neat train to catch. A lot more interesting than the train I was running, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. But you'll notice, since the layout is really only scenic as far as Marcel, which is just beyond the Tehachapi Loop, I really didn't take all that many videos on the section beyond Tehachapi. I did take a couple, but I didn't take too many of them. I wanted this to be photogenic as opposed to the usual operations videos where the goal is to capture operations kind of as they are. And this is a little bit of a hybrid where I'm doing some photogenic stuff but also capturing the operations I was doing. It also is, of course, very informal since this is an operating session, not a dedicated video. But anyways, here is the train going into Tunnel 5, heading out of Cliff. And now we're passing an SP manifest holding for us at Waylon, right on the loop. And that was the last shot I took of that particular train. Again, there wasn't much scenery beyond Tehachapi. So anyways, the next train I ran was a long block of loaded Santa Fe reefers, and for this particular run I was actually the helper engine, so I had the added responsibility of making sure the train didn't string line going up the grade as I was getting the various shots. But it seems difficult, but it's actually quite simple once you get the hang of it. You just kind of get into a rhythm of a good amount of slack throughout the cars, and you're basically good to go. But there's my helper engines, the pair of, I believe they're GP7s coming out of the tunnel there. And we're about to pass through Caliente and go up the grade.
We're entertaining ourselves. Yes, I get that. I remember that the last time too. It's feast for family as you go. Well, those forward, almost. You plugged in?
Yep.
I'm gonna back off to I'm at 11.
So I took a few shots of this full train going by as I wanted to get a sense of the scale of the trains that run here at the La Mesa Club. This is, I mean, the layout itself is obviously compressed a pretty good deal for the actual route, but the trains themselves are quite long. Again, this is a club layout, and it's kind of meant for display, so the trains do operate at, I would say, prototypical lengths. So I did make a point to capture the full length of the train at a couple locations along the layout. And again, I have to emphasize that the La Mesa Club is just such a massive layout that in timetable and train order operations, there is no fast clock. Everything just runs on one-to-one time because it just takes trains that long to get over the railroad. So it's truly an impressive sight, seeing this big reefer train going uphill. And once again, we have a shot of the train passing through Bealville.
Okay, so we're starting the battery extra. So the body reads extra Santa Fe ATSS 2690-2690 West WEST has right over second SECOND and third CHILD 806-896 Tehachapi
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but it's really, they really are. All right, give it due time at 5 o'clock.
And here is one of those classic Tehachapi scenes of a long reefer train passing over the loop with its head end crossing over its tail as it crosses onto the upper level of track. The And now we're on to the next and final train that I ran on this particular day of the op session. It's another Santa Fe passenger train, this time hauled by an ABBA set of FTs, which are the first model of F units, and they're very interesting engines. And this is also a very unusual passenger consist, as it has the lightweight bud coaches on the front, but it also has the mail consist on the rear with some heavyweights to add in as well. And here's a train passing another Santa Fe manifest going down the hill at Waylong. And next we depart Woodford after a brief station stop. Now at Bealville, we passed the SP Mountain Local in the siding, waiting for us to pass, as well as probably several other Superior trains, given that this is a timetable and train order railroad. The local freights definitely get the short end of the stick as far as train movements are concerned. It is not unusual for those trains to take all day to get over the railroad. So my pity goes out to whoever got to run that one. But I'm sure it's fun nonetheless.
Yeah. Doubt they would have really cared much about that during this time, but yeah. You were a forward-thinking individual. That's right.
And again, in this particular shot of the Santa Fe passenger train coming down the hill, nearing Caliente, you get another sense of the sheer scale of this layout, with this HO scale train being absolutely dwarfed by the scenery that's going through. And now, at the bottom of the grade, we pull into the Caliente Depot for our passenger stop.
No, number 7's already here. There's another one behind him. Mm-hmm.
And that Santa Fe passenger train was the last train that I ran for the Saturday portion of the op session. And on the way back to the hotel that night, I caught a northbound coaster train leaving the Santa Fe depot on its way to Oceanside. And it is now Sunday morning, back at the layout, and I'm now running SP's Valley Mail Express VMX up and over the hill with some F3s and F7s for power. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Saturday was very much a Santa Fe day, whereas Sunday we definitely had a lot more SP presence on the hill. I don't know if that's how things kind of panned out in real life, where Santa Fe tended to run more trains at a certain time of day, or Southern Pacific and vice versa, but that's how things turned out on the layout. And you'll also notice that there is a very beautifully painted combine on the rear in the daylight colors as well, so that's a very, very nice model on this particular train.
Okay. I will watch you a little bit because it has my engine on it. I verify that it's performing as expected. Okay. Won't go far.
Well, over the course of the weekend, it was a goal of mine to hopefully run at least one steam locomotive, and I finally got my chance with this SB Cap Forward here, running this particular passenger train, which is a very interesting consist consisting of both heavyweight and lightweight articulated passenger cars.
Oh yeah, vibrating engines.
And for my next assignment, I ran the same train the other direction, only this time with some F units on the point. And this was one of the few shots I took in the back area of the layout. I just had to capture this meet between my passenger train and this mail and express train with a GS4 and a mountain on the point. And the general theme for the operations for this 50 session at La Mesa was first-class passenger trains, so I really got to get a grand tour of the layout for basically every run that I did. And this was the last train that I ran over the course of the weekend, which is, I believe this was SP's Owl, hauled by a trio of SD7s, which are actually not prototyped for this particular time period, but they look really good nonetheless.
You had something to say about that. Yep.
And in another one of the few shots I took in the back area beyond Tehachapi, here is the passenger train passing through Monolith. And lastly, we see a Santa Fe merchandise freight. I believe this is the SWG train, Santa Fe WP Great Northern, between LA and Seattle, passing by Cameron on the double track fast running section between Tehachapi and Mojave. And with this last shot, this concludes my first installment, I guess you could say, of my 2 op sessions I attended at the Mesa Club. This was, of course, the 50s op session, and the second one I attended was a 70s op session. So very, very interesting to see the contrast of power and all that sort of stuff. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and thank you again for bearing with me during my long absence, and hopefully this absence won't be forever. So look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Thank you again for watching.